Oh, there's the My Radio Show hotline. Our guest made his major league debut with the Dodgers in 1991. Had 284 career home runs, over 1,000 runs batted in. A UCLA economics grad. I can't wait to talk about that. And Rookie of the Year 1992. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Karros is on the line with us now. Welcome, Eric. How are you?
I'm doing well, Rick. Happy to be on, and congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. First question right out of the blocks. Are Seager and Pollock playing tonight in Boston?
I don't know if they're playing tonight, but I would guess Seager's playing tonight. I'm not sure. I've not seen the lineup yet, but put it this way, they're not coming back to ease their way in. But Seager, I would imagine, he's at shortstop.
Dodgers won 60 games to end the first half. Is this the best Dodgers team you've seen through the All-Star break?
Probably one of the deepest teams. There really isn't a weakness. If you want to nitpick, you could argue that, hey, we want to get the bullpen a little stronger, but the way Joe Kelly's thrown as of late, I think that's what the organization envisioned. There's never a perfect team. There's always some, semblance of where you could attack a group, but I can't recall a Dodger team that is as deep and as versatile as this one has shown for the up until the All-Star break.
As a sports fan, I've always been a glass half empty guy. I'm not an apologist. I think, and this is going to be a weird. I know I'm going to have to seek therapy for this. I just think that the teams need to have slumps, a slump or two over the course of a season, especially 162 games. The Dodgers haven't really had one. Am I right or wrong?
I mean, at the beginning, I wouldn't call it a slump. If you're looking for, something that they ran through 2 years ago where they had a stretch of about 3 weeks where they were, they were horrible. And again, at the end of the year, they ended up not winning the World Series. So was that stretch needed? I don't know. Did it get them to the World Series? I don't think what this team has been through the last 2 years, I don't think it needs to be reminded, how fragile a season can be or how a postseason can turn on a pitch or an at-bat. So for them, I don't believe that, the adversity or anything. The 2 World Series, second place, runner-up finishes, I think that's enough. And that's what drives them. I don't think that they need anything, outside. I mean, the reality is, their only obstacle really is the season and themselves. And when I mean by that is the season is you just got to stay relatively healthy, and themselves they've got everything they need in that clubhouse right now. They really do.
This team has a great mix. They got the veterans, Turner, Martin, and Kershaw. They got the kids, Bellinger, Peterson, Verdugo, and Seager. And then the guys, and forgive me, I'm going to call them cast-offs, the guys that you weren't expecting anything from, and then they catch fire at some point. Muncy, Taylor, and even Rich Hill, who, has had until he gets hurt, he's playing well. What are they missing, though?
I'm not sure that they're missing anything. That's why I said that they're about as versatile and as deep as any ball club. You've got guys that have had success in a World Series, and David Freese. You've had guys that have struggled in a postseason in Cody Bellinger. You have, as you mentioned, the young, the old. Like I said, I think the only thing that this team, doesn't have is, the World Series victory. And there isn't a reason. I don't think you can be any more ready than this group. I don't think you can be any more complete. Like I said, with any club, you're always looking for pitching. I don't think you can ever have enough. But if you had to stack up, and I'd say there's 3 elite teams right now, the Dodgers, the Astros, and the Yankees. I would look at the Dodger ball club, and while it may not be the strongest in any, in every area, or, there's some specific areas where the Yankees may be better or the Astros, I think overall they are the most complete team. And whether or not that translates into a World Series victory, I mean, that's kind of a crapshoot. But I would, if I had to pick one team right now and, live or die on it, I think the Dodgers would be at the top of my list right now, even over the Astros or the Yankees.
We're talking to former Dodger and current analyst Eric Karros. Eric, I apologize. This is not meant to be a romantic question, but do you remember how we met?
Refresh my memory, Rick.
Okay, so
I'm sure it'll come to me.
No, it's a great story. I was hoping to do. I was trying to do a story on some of the players, and I don't know if it was your agent or the other guy I'm about to mention's agent, but the agent said to me, "Hey, okay, would you go out and do a story on a couple of young guys living together out on the beach in Huntington Beach?" Okay, is this starting to ring a bell a little?
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Manhattan
Okay, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
Okay, Manhattan Beach, and he said, "Go out and do a story on these two guys, and then do me a favor. These guys they're kind of on the poor side. Would you take them to lunch?" So I go out to Manhattan Beach. I do an interview. It's Mike Piazza and Eric Karros. So we go back to your apartment. We after the interview, we pick stuff up, and I go, "Where are you guys going to go?" I promised your agent. I don't know if you guys share the same agent or not, but I said we're going to go grab some lunch. Where do you want to go? Do you remember where we went?
Did we go to Houston's?
We went to Houston's. We absolutely went to Houston's. And I remember the whole time. By the way, the whole time, and we're older now, all of us. But the conversations, there was a lot of dude this and dude that, dude. And so we're talking and we're having meals. And the first time I'd been to a Houston's, believe it or not. And then I don't know if it was you or Piazza said, "Dude, you got to try the cobbler. It's killer." And so
the apple walnut,
you wasn't remember how amazing that cobbler at Houston's is. And so there we are, three big guys, and I'm the smallest guy in the group. I'm 6'2". I'm not a little guy, but next to you and Piazza, maybe I'm little. And there we are, three guys with our forks just stabbing at this cobbler. And I remember
sharing it.
We get to the last piece of cobbler, and one of you guys said, "Dude, are you going to kill that?"
Yeah. And that was the vernacular too.
That was totally the vernacular.
Yep, that was.
How times have changed, and we all kind of grew up together. How'd you?
I don't know. Did anybody grow up? That's
no, definitely not me.
Got older. I don't know if anybody grew up. But,
Eric Karros, how'd you get your start in broadcasting? I'm just curious.
Broadcasting was.
Be careful.
And I think I did some. I know I did some things with you, and it was. I was fortunate to live in L.A. and play for the Dodgers. So, we did some things on channel. That was channel 11 at the time, and way back when. And then I just kind of you mentored me, and then got me on my way.
You were still a player, and it was great because we would do these right after the major league games on Fox, and you're right. It just and you were, by the way, you did a great job. I'm so happy and proud for you now. All right, we're going to play How Well Do You Know Yourself, Eric Karros. Let's give this a shot. Okay, what was your first Major League Baseball appearance? First Major League Baseball.
Oh, that's easy. Pinch runner. I pinch ran for Mike Sharperson against the Chicago Cubs.
What year was that? Do you remember?
1991.
September 1st. Congratulations. Great job there, buddy. May he rest in peace, Mike Sharperson, a terrific, terrific guy. All right, man. First Major League Baseball start.
Oh, that was against St. Louis Cardinals, against Real Cormier, a guy that I had absolutely ripped apart in the minor leagues, and I struck out twice and hit a weak ground ball back to the pitcher.
1991.
Nice 0 for 3. 1991, yeah.
1991. Okay, so in that same game,
I'm killing this game. I'm killing this game.
I'll get you at the end here. But yeah, first Major League Baseball hit
against Milt Hill. Hill, game winner against Cincinnati Reds.
Wow. What inning?
That had to be either the. Was that? Gosh, it was either the 8th inning, maybe.
It was extras.
I don't know. I don't think it was a walk-up.
Yeah, it was extras.
It was a walk-up. Yeah,
12th inning. First home run.
First home run was against Craig Lefferts in San Diego, my hometown. Yep. 1992.
First at bat of the season. I have to get really quickly back to the pinch runner story. Why on earth was that Lasorda? Did he put you into pinch run?
He did.
What the heck?
Manager what was in the pitcher? Hey! Be careful! 15. I had 15 bags this season. More really? Stolen bases than Joe DiMaggio. Come on, there we go.
Are you telling me you were fast? You want to be honest with me? Were you fast?
No.
Listen,
I'm not telling you that.
I want to close out with you with really the most important story of the day. People always ask me, "Hey, when you were a journalist, what was your best story?" And I always tell the story. So forgive me because But I remember I think it was the mid '90s, and a charity called up and said, "Hey, can you run out to Dodger Stadium? There's a kid who's got cancer, and he's Make-A-Wish, I think. And I went out there, and his favorite all-time Dodger he went out there to meet did not show up. And I won't mention the name.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember, but I'm not going to mention who it was. So Eric Karros steps in and meets with Aaron Lessa. I'll never forget Aaron's name.
Aaron Lessa, I remember.
So you never see follow-up stories on this stuff. And a few months later, I get a call from his father, who said, "Listen, I just wanted to let you know, my son died and passed away." And I said, "Mr. Lessa, we never do follow-up stories on this. Do you mind if I come out to your house and talk to you?" So I go out. I interview the dad. We go into his son's bedroom. Aaron's bedroom was like my bedroom as a kid, a shrine, baseball pictures and photographs and balls all over the place. And the dad said, Rick, I just want you to know that Eric Karros did something for my son that I could never, ever, ever offer him. And he just gave him the day of his life. And we ran that story. It was a tough story. I don't know where you were. You were in spring training or someplace. I don't know where you were. Word got back to you about the story. I think you may have seen it. And that season, you donated money for every home run.
Home runs,
for Children's Hospital. I tell that story all the time because you do a story, and that's one where you make a difference. And you guys catch a lot of flack sometimes for being greedy and you were so affected by that you did really something that was wonderful that year. I remember that. I'll never forget it.
No. It's almost. So you can make an impact. You don't realize the ways that you can make an impact, and just whether it's time, whether it's a few bucks, whether it's just saying hello, and you can't. Sometimes you take that for granted, and you've always got to remember. And then when you run across people like Aaron Lessa, and you just. That's when you realize how fortunate you are, and if you can make somebody smile or give them a little glimmer of hope, you better darn well take the time to do it.
You did that. I'm going to ask you one final prediction question, though. Who should the Dodgers be worried about having to meet in the World Series again this year?
They don't have to worry about anybody. They just have to worry about themselves. They're going to play the Yankees.
Oh.
That's my call. They're going to play the Yankees. It's going to be a Dodger. Back to the 77, 78 stuff or the 81.
Oh, Bobby Welsh, Reggie Jackson. Oh, my God.
Yes, sir. There you go. Looking forward
to it. I lied. I got to ask you one more question. How's Tommy doing? I love the guy.
Tommy's doing well. He's doing well.
Okay.
I mean, remember, he's 91. And,
I know.
He's still doing well.
Well, at some point down the road, we'll share our Tommy Lasorda stories together.
Yeah, right,
the green room stories with Tommy Lasorda are always a joy for me.
There you go,
Eric. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be bugging you down the road. Thank you.
Okay, take care, Bob.
All right, Eric Karros, former Dodger and current analyst, on my radio show with Rick Garcia. So.